And what we're seeing is a militarization of the FDA, which extends to the IoM and the military ties that we sort of touched on.
Department of Education, without warrants, is now kicking down doors.
Yeah, and I understand tomorrow you're going to have the CEO of Gibson Guitars on.
Yes.
They were raided by the feds for what? Illegal wood. Now, do you realize where they could go with this? If the wood in your guitar is illegal, they could say the wood stock on your firearm is illegal.
No. They admit that. They said, no. That's why I wanted to cover this over the weekend, and I never did because I got busy on other subjects. It was even in the Wall Street Journal and other articles that now they're going to go back to even 100-year-old guitars, pianos, guns.
Incredible.
And if it's from any of these countries now, even if it, no. You're going to be SWAT teamed. So exactly. The government isn't enough to make drugs illegal and then come after people for drugs they bring in. Now it's going to be light bulbs, which they're now coming after folks for, the wrong kind of power, the wrong kind of washing machine, wood, and they're admitting they're now raiding people over guitars that are even 60 years old. And when you try to fly out of the country with them, if you can't prove, no matter what it is, where the wood came from, they're taking it.
It's
incredible. It's a total authoritarianism.
I'm sure this is another reason for them to try to arrest Willie Nelson, by the way. They go after his guitars now. But do you realize where they could extend this?
What's the name of his guitar? Trigger? The one he's had so long?
Yeah,
I've actually
right.
touched Trigger.
Oh, really?
He's had since he was a kid.
Well,
that's it for that thing.
An Al-Qaeda instrument.
Guys, let's put Trigger up there that he bought in Texas like 65 years ago. I think he was about 11 when he got it, so I guess it was like 70 years ago. He's like 76. So.
But look, if they can outlaw materials now, they could say, well, the gallium in your solar panels is illegal from China. So all gallium is illegal, and they could confiscate all solar panels.
No. That's the new system. The
yeah.
green police are there to make sure you get bisphenol A. They're there to make sure you don't get your vitamins. I mean, I've checked it. They're going after everything that doesn't matter while ignoring the GMO.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right. Right. GMOs are genetically contaminating our world. Suicides of farmers are at record levels throughout India, and I think we're going to see more farmer suicides in the U.S., maybe even in Texas, because the drought combined with GMO failures is just driving people to real misery.
You know what, Mike Adams? We're going into overdrive. I've got a bunch of meetings I got to do for the TV show. How would you like to host the show for an hour coming up?
Are you tired of spending money for metal canning lids year after year? Then
Mike Adams is going to do 30 minutes of overdrive at prisonplanet.tv and on the audio streams at Infowars.com. That'll all be archived to prisonplanet.tv and then shot out across the web to the four corners of the planet. And he's going to do that overdrive and go to the callers that are patiently holding as well after he continues to get into some of the other news that he has here with us today. So even when I'm off getting ready for the TV show, somebody like Mike Adams comes in here and we'll throw him in front of the microphone. He's a great radio talk show host. But for the official show that ends in about 5 minutes, I'll be back tomorrow, obviously 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We got Ron Paul coming up on Wednesday and a bunch of other big guests throughout the week. And we're also getting some of the people on from Gibson as well to talk about their raid. And by the way, the government already raided them 2 years ago and had to admit that they had already raided them before and that they had been not guilty of that, and they're buying the certified wood. but it's about wood instead of we're chemtrailing you, we're modifying the crops, we're splicing all these animals together.
They really don't have any justification, Alex, to raid them. This is what the U.S. is turning into. The federal regulators are now they're just raiding you as a nuisance tactic. They have no law on their side. You know, law has been thrown out, even throughout the executive branch.
No, it's a bunch of control freak parasites who act like complete. That's when you wake up to corruption. Is when the cops are saying we're going to frame you and stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, you're really a criminal.
Yeah,
the government's really criminal.
Hey, people are waking up all over the place now. I mean, the raw dairy thing woke up a lot of people in California who really weren't paying attention to the coming police state until this happened. Now, Gibson guitar raid, this is waking up a lot of people throughout the music industry.
Thousands of lemonade stands, and even Forbes had to admit this is about cracking down on grassroots activity, making you go to big box stores. They don't want humans doing normal human activities.
Right. Well, I can't wait for them to outlaw rock and roll, to start raiding record stores. for no reason because, I don't know, there's BPA in the vinyl or something. You know, who knows what they'll come up with. It's just some crazy idea.
It's all about power grabs. They're just
Sure.
training us to accept bizarre behavior.
Well, that's what it is. And as long as they keep doing this, they're actually sort of working for us because they're creating the reaction. As you say, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Every time they conduct an unjustified, illegal raid, they wake up another sector of society that says, wait a minute, this is not a free country anymore, and we must take a stand and fight for our liberties, otherwise we're going to lose them.
I saw The Atlantic, being a big liberal publication, saying, oh my gosh, how do you make musicians, tea partiers, you know, take their guitars? And they said, the whole internet's on fire. Thousands of musician sites are totally angry and don't believe in our global warming takeover. We've got to be nicer. Again, they don't want to move their green police too quick. It's like, we'll micromanage everybody later. First, just start taxing their fuel. Let's get the horse in the back of the trailer. Don't let them know we're taking them to a glue factory.
But it is like they're in a hurry now. They seem to be accelerating and escalating these raids. And the attempts to outlaw dietary supplements, which, by the way, the Institute of Medicine has been in favor of for a long time, actually issued a position paper on that. We've got a big call-in day coming up September 8th, a nationwide call-in day to complain about the FDA's attempt to outlaw dietary supplements that we covered here on your show weeks ago. That issue's still out there. They're going to keep trying to outlaw our music instruments, our food, our supplements. Who knows what else they're going to go after, Alex? And firearms, of course, that goes without saying. But, you know, what else is on their target list next to go after?
Everything is. And, you know, they've got to ship guns into Mexico to blame it on the Second Amendment. They're going to do it. That's it for the official transmission. We're going to be back in 1 minute, and he'll be riding shotgun no longer. He'll be in the catbird seat here straight ahead.
We are all working together here to get the information out there that you need in order to be free, to stay free. And in this half an hour, I'm going to go into more details about the Institute of Medicine report that we were just talking about here with Alex. I'm going to talk about the FDA a little bit, and we're going to get to some of your calls. Now, I noticed there are quite a few callers who have been on hold for some time. I want to get to you, and even if your subject is not FDA related, I'd be happy to take your call. Some of the trolls out there, if you try to call in thinking I'm going to be an easy target because I'm not the usual guest, I'm just going to hang up on you. So if you're going to call in, be talking about freedom and be on board with this program. If you just try to use this to attack Alex or something like that, you're not going to make any headway here whatsoever. Now, by the way, just want to mention, and I appreciate Alex inviting me to fill in for this half hour. I wrote an article about a week ago called "Is Alex Jones for Real?" And this article really lays out what I personally think about Alex Jones and why I'm here and why I really appreciate this team, the entire InfoWars team, and what they are doing and the way in which they approach things. It's a very effective, probably the most effective alternative media source on the web, on the radio, around the world right now that's spreading truth and the information you need to know about all the topics that really matter. The economy, politics, health freedom, food freedom, genetically modified foods, all of these issues, Alex Jones is breaking it down for you here every single day. Now, just for some background so you know, look, there aren't too many people that I really admire. I mean, it's a very short list. It's people like Thomas Jefferson. It's people like Ron Paul, people like Samuel Adams, who I'm just lucky enough to share the last name with there. But in terms of people operating today and actually active people out there in the world, there's those who I admire, it's a very short list. Paul Craig Roberts, definitely on the list. But it's not a huge list. Alex Jones is someone I truly and honestly admire for his courage. And that's what I laid out in that story, which has been very widely read and very popular, actually, because you got to understand that people like Alex, and to some extent myself, we would really rather be out fishing somewhere or having free time or maybe even exercising on a treadmill. I mean, I've actually lost some of my exercise time because I'm working so hard on Natural News. And I've seen pictures of Alex Jones when he was pumping weights and super buff, and you know, he's put a lot of time into this, and he hasn't had time to go do the personal exercise that I know he enjoys doing, that he wants to do, because he's sacrificing his time to be here to do this show. And I understand that, because this is what patriots do. Committed people. This is what they do, because they are dedicated to spending their time making a difference in this world for your future, even if it means sacrificing some of their own time, even time with family sometimes, or personal time off. You don't see Alex taking time off. I don't take time off either. I just spent the weekend working on this Institute of Medicine report. But that's why I'm here. I just want to be on the record of why I'm here and why I'm really just humbled and happy to be part of this organization. And I know you understand that, especially the longtime InfoWars listeners, the big-time supporters, advocates of everything we're doing here. I thank you for your support, and thank you for accepting me as a fill-in host here from time to time during Overdrive hours. Now, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to get right to your calls. Sorry to make you wait there. We're going to talk to Zachary, Richard, Mark, Roger, James, and others when we come back. Stay with us here on the Alex Jones Show, Overdrive Edition. We are into Overdrive here on the Alex Jones Show. I'm Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, and we're going straight to your calls in this segment. Let's go to Roger in Missouri. Sorry for you holding so long, but what can I do for you today, Roger?
Hello, Mike. I read your article, and I agree with it 100%. And was you happen to be listening to the show a couple of weeks ago when Alex had the farmers call in?
Yes, I listened to that show, yes.
Okay, I'm the guy that called and was talking about the black helicopter.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember your call. Yeah, you said that they were so close that you flipped them off, and they flipped you back off as well, right? That was you?
Yes. Okay. I don't believe in coincidences. In the very next Friday, at 10 minutes to 11, right before our show come on, was getting ready to go on a camping trip, and me and a friend of mine was walking down the lane to feed my horses. And guess what I heard? Helicopter coming. And I turned around immediately and started back to the house. And my friend didn't know what was going on. And he said, well, are we going back to the house? And I said, well, I'm going to get my rifle. And I went and I just leaned it up against a tree. And a black helicopter came right back. And he flew over 2 or 3 times, and you could tell they was trying to see who was there. So finally I said, the heck with it, and him and I just walked on down to feed the horses, and they hovered right on top of us.
So is this, you think, them saying, we're watching you, we are listening to you, and we want you to know that, or what's your interpretation of it?
That's my interpretation. But my friend, I told him to take out his phone and take pictures. Every time he'd take a picture, they'd fly off, and then they'd come back. But the gist of it was, I wouldn't look up at him. And he told me, he said, they have a camera.
Sure, yeah.
And what they was wanting me to do is look up. And I wouldn't do it.
Oh, okay. Well, wear your boonie there, Roger, and don't let them get a face shot of you. But I would advise you to get yourself a high-powered camera. Get some shots of them. If you hold the camera in front of your face, they can't get a clear picture of your face. Get some photos of them and send them here to InfoWars.
Well, I'm going to try to, if I could figure out how to do this, download those pictures from his phone onto my computer and send it to you guys. But I just want everybody to know is, and you too, they're listening to this show.
Oh, of course they are. Yeah, of course they are.
Proved to me that they knew I was the one that called in, and they wanted to come back and say, hey, you're not getting away with anything.
Well, Roger, this goes for you and everybody else out there. We need more people with cameras and video cameras and high-powered cameras, not just the iPhone, cell phone cameras. Those aren't really high resolution. Folks, get more cameras going, and you can get more proof and more footage that InfoWars will share and air, and that's crucial for all of us to remember. You know, photographic evidence is one of the ways that we can really defend ourselves against this kind of what sounds like an intimidation tactic. And Roger, I appreciate your call. It's great to get an update from you.